Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise, and myself, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 105. And today we're going to review the Johnnie Walker Green Label 15-year-old. So, if you're new to my channel, be sure to click the subscribe button, which I'll leave up there. And it's pretty much, I'm going to be reviewing the Johnnie Walker range at the minute. So, if you're looking for a specific one, it'll probably most likely be out already. So far we've done the red, the black, the double black, and now we're working our way onto the green label. So, we're going to begin by telling you a little information about the Johnnie Walker Green. The Green is a blended whiskey, like the Johnnie Walkers. However, it's a blended malt whiskey. So, it means that it doesn't contain any grain in this whiskey blend. So, normally the Johnnie Walker Black, which we'll compare it to, contains single malts and single grain. This one, however, only contains single malts. So, very unique in terms of being a blended malt. In terms of its review style structure, which I'll get through now, and we'll begin that. So in terms of my review style structure, how I like to review my whiskies, this one in terms of age is 15 years old. That means every single malt that went into this has to be minimum of 15 years of age. The ABV is 43%. The actual, as it's a blended malt, I know actually the components that go into it. The four whiskies that go into making a Johnnie Walker Green are a Talisker, a Linkwood, a Cragganmore, and a Kalila. And one thing I really like is if you turn the box over at the back here, it tells you them, and it tells you what tasting notes they offer into it. I'm not going to read that, but it says here, Talisker gives it the power. Linkwood, the finesse. Cragganmore, the heart. And Kalila, the mystery. I just love the way they describe Kalila over there being the mystery, even though they produce a lot of whiskey at Kalila's distillery. Now, the parent company for them are Diageo, who own Johnnie Walker, and all are pretty much quite a lot of different distilleries around Scotland. I think they've got quite a few which I'll be featuring. One of my favorites here in Mortlach, which I'll talk about when we get to another Johnnie Walker product. Now, in terms of the price on this bottle, you're looking at around about £35 to around about £45. I picked this up for 46, and this is a 1 litre bottle. I picked it up at the airport as they just relaunched it again, and I instantly, boom, I was on that one in a flash because I wanted to get the Green Label. Now, old Green Label, which they released in the past, had sort of like a black rim all around the side as a border. I'd say like it's like a black frame that went around the bottle box. Now, exclusivity-wise, it is not exclusive as it's now been relaunched since 2016, late 2016, early 2017, and it is now part of the range again. So, without further ado, let's get into the nosing, into the Johnnie Walker Green Label, into the nose. So to start things out on the nose for this one, it is very soft. It's a bit gentle. It's not like the red and it's not like the black. It doesn't give you that sort of alcohol-y character, that sort of little bite and spice straight away on the nose. It's got a very nice mellow vanilla character. And this is like a nice warm vanilla. It's almost like you take, if you're doing baking and you take a vanilla sponge cake out of the oven, maybe vanilla cupcakes actually, and you can just smell that aroma in your kitchen, that's the note I get instantly on the nose. Like a warm vanilla cupcake. It's sort of accompanied behind that with a salty aspect. But this is not a heavy salty. This is not a briny, a coastal note. This is like a salted caramel. It's gentle. It's got a little sweetness that's sort of playing around with it. Along with that, there is a tangy aspect, like a tangy citrus. This is, I'm going to say, more towards, like I say, a tangerine, but more of the inside, the actual juicy segments, not necessarily the skin. It's got a nice sort of body of it with citrus character. There is even a fainter note in the background of an apple. And for some reason, this reminds me again of another baking product. I don't know what it is about baking and the Green Label, but it reminds me of a sort of like an apple pie. And you've taken a piece of cinnamon and you've baked it with the cinnamon inside, and you've just added like maybe a few red berries in the mix as well. So you're sort of getting the nose of on the note on the nose is like apple, red berries, sort of like cranberries, cinnamon, adding that little bit of spicy element to it, but not a pungent spice, a delicate, sweeter spice. And then there is a little sort of savory note that develops on the back end, and this is like green olives, freshly cut green olives, which you get sort of a little salty aspect with them, but quite fresh. No pith inside, no flavouring, nothing like that. It's just like a nice green olive. And there is a slightly sort of sweeter note I'm picking up more on the left-hand side, and it's like a honeyed aspect, like a honey pepper. As if you've taken sort of pepper cloves and you just sort of dip them in honey and then you've taken them out. That aspect of like a little crackle of spice, but it's accompanied by a very nice sweetness, so them two play in harmony with one another. Really good on the nose. Let's move into the palate. Solange. So to begin on the palate for the Johnnie Green, it does start out quite light on arrival. The texture does develop slightly more into a medium, maybe medium full texture. Becomes a little bit silky, mouth coating. Not oily, but it's quite light again, so it's mouth coating in a very, very sort of soft, gentle way. There is an aspect of sort of like a pink pepper, a gentle peppery note, making itself evident, but so easygoing. It's not something that's going to give you sort of like heartburn or give you a very mouth-warming feeling. There is a smoky aspect, and this is like a wood smoke, but I'd say like a cold fire, like as if you've blown out, if you sort of put out a fire when you're burning logs, and that sort of smell of the wood just sort of carrying it through very gently now onto the palate. The salty aspect of what I remembered as salted caramel on the nose is now it's literally mirrored itself now over onto the palate. I'm getting that salted caramel. A little bit of even what reminds me of a pet pretzel, so a nice savoury aspect again with it. And then the fruits come into it. Green apples, dried apricots, a little bit of raisins, but I'm going to go so far to say chocolate coated raisins. And then a sweeter note, like almost like a fudge, which comes in just at the end, giving a nice little bit of sweetness. Overall, really nice. Let's move next into the finish. Into the finish next. Almost like a mocha chocolate coffee. Maybe even a mixture, maybe Americano. But like a dusting of chocolate. The coffee aspect's really evident on the finish of this one. And an oily sort of nutty aspect as well. Maybe walnuts. Brazilian nuts. Brazilian nuts in chocolate with that coffee. And walnuts on the side. That's it. That's really cool. I like this one. That is actually a really fun whiskey. So, I think that's going to be it for my finish. Actually, I'm going to enjoy this. Now I'm going to get into my comments and my overall rating. So, overall rating for this one. This was an easy no-brainer for me because this is one of my favourites from the Johnnie Walker range. I'm giving this one a 90 out of 100. I really enjoy the Johnnie Walker Green Label. The complexity, the way in which the flavours marry themselves together are just magnificently done. And if you sort of like blended malts, give this one a go. If you've had bad experiences, a couple people have told me they've had bad experiences with black and red, give the green a go. It's a blended malt. It contains Talisker. Kalila is quite evident in this one. Cragganmore is quite delicate, and even the Linkwood. But I get a lot more of that sort of Kalila sweetness and a little smoky aspect. Overall though, the flavour profile on it is nice and complex. Lots of flavours for you to enjoy. That little chocolatey note, coffee note, those aspects of apple, salted caramel. It's got this all in this whiskey. Do I think it's worth the money? Yes. Would I be buying bottles? Yes, I've actually bought a case of this one. So it's one of my favourites from the Johnnie Walker range. And at the same time, do I think it needs time to sit in the glass? You can do, however, it's one of those ones that's versatile. You can pour it straight away and enjoy it, or you can leave it for some time, let it breathe. And on the option of water, I'll leave that in your court. You can decide because as to how you enjoy your whiskies. But on that note, I'm going to wrap the video up at that. If you have enjoyed the video, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Hit the subscribe button if you're new, and also feel free to share this with your friends if they like Johnnie Walker. I'm going to leave some other videos here and there. But on that note, this has been JasonWhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Solange.